Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you all for. We don't have time; we have to work. So. Okay, so thank you very much for being here with us again. My name is Alexander Knoth. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at the DAAD. I'm happy to be your host here with my team as well. So I'm going to follow up a little bit on what Peter Hassenbach has already talked about, the National Network Digital Network Education Infrastructure, however you'd like to call it, and give you some insights into our research and development project where we are working on one of the first prototypes, and to give you later on a bit hands-on example how it really could look like. So these are all work in progress, these are all just examples, but it really should help us to discuss the ideas and the concepts in more detail. So this will be a truly hybrid session. My colleagues here will give you a live demonstration, and afterwards we have some other colleagues jumping in online to discuss about some more use cases in detail. As I said before, the BIRD project is developing the first prototype for the National Network Infrastructure for Education, and our approach really considers the diverse and heterogeneous landscape of stakeholders and existing educational services. So we are therefore following a fully decentralized approach by developing a middleware to build bridges and to link existing services, always having digital learner journeys in mind. So, and originally we have planned to start with a short video introduction, but after I've heard Mart's talk, I was afraid of getting automized and replaced by computers, so I will skip that, but later on you can use the link and watch it on your own. So, our goal is to turn as many isolated solutions, and I usually call them service islands, into a digitally networked service archipelago. So that's the metaphor I'm using mostly. The aim is to create access to digital education across educational sectors and to support learning pathways digitally and to open up opportunities for location and time independent collaboration and shared learning. What's that? Okay, good. So what is the BIRD project? We are understanding ourselves as a testbed or an experimentation field for the networked educational environment that the ministry is developing. So that means we do not have one-to-one processes, so it's not for sure or assured that things that we are developing will be one-to-one, the ones that the ministry is later on implementing. So we are really an experimentation field. We have the opportunity to fail. The ministry doesn't. So that's the good thing. So we can do what we are usually all doing in research and development projects, trying to find out what is really working. And we are not alone. We are part of a much larger funding program that Peter Hassenbach already talked about. And during the initial funding period that was last year, we were able to prove interoperability by connecting 57 services from the other funded projects with our BIRD prototype. I think that was a really huge success because with that short amount of time, that was hard work, very stressful, but for the sake of a good proof of concept. We also had a lively exchange with the other 3 platform prototypes to make sure that their expertise is used for the collaborative development of our project as well. So now, after the proof of concept and after entering phase 2, we are working more closely together with the other still ongoing 38 projects that received funding from the ministry in order to develop, let's say, more persona-driven use cases to showcase also what this infrastructure could be useful for. Why we are doing that all? Because, technically speaking, again, we are providing the test bed and we try to find out what worked and what doesn't. For that, we are working together with excellent and wonderful partners. You can find them all here on the slide, but what I'd really like to show here is that this selection reflects very nicely the diversity and heterogeneity of the education system and its stakeholders. So we have higher education institutions, networks, IT developing companies, and service providers. And to give you just one example, with the T-Systems company, we want to work on a prototype of using the covert certificate infrastructure in order to also transfer educational certificates via that technological basis. We are following three guiding principles. Learning resources are organized and linked in such a way that content is accessible across systems and contexts to integrate into the personal learning journey. And that was, where's Carolina? Yeah, over there, that was her question during Peter Hassenbach's talk. So the content really comes from the connected service providers. So we do not work on the content itself. The content comes from the ecosystem itself. And in our first step, we are trying to make that more accessible and available for all learners across the whole education system. Users should be able to draw from the variety of tools and instruments, and they can design their personal digital learning environment, so that also fits nicely what Matt Arrow was talking about, for their own digital learning and working environment. In this way, we work on processes, knowledge, and collaboration among educators, learners, so that they can organize their learning journey in the best way for them. Getting to know people interested in the same topics and connecting with fellow students and classmates and colleagues makes learning more successful, as we all know, and that's why this infrastructure should also support informal and collaborative learning. So it's not only about identity management, providing access, but later during a later phase, collaboration and working on collaborative opportunities for the learners is key. We don't want to develop any content. I have said this already, but we want to make them that available. The overriding goal, that's nothing very new, is user centricity. Tools should be easy to put together by dragging and dropping them into the personal work environment, and we will see how that works later during the live demo. For example, you can jump on the Moodle learning management platform from the University of Potsdam. You can use the video conferencing tool provided by the University of Göttingen, or you can easily go to ERSI, one of our OER repositories, to find OER resources there to really integrate them into your personal working space. So 3 guiding principles are followed by 3 interoperability mechanisms. We have developed and tested a very slim framework to generate interoperability, which consists of 3 basic components. Single sign-on, for using only one identity to get access to all connected services. Second, a smart metadata management for individualizing your own learning pathway and to offer a comprehensive search function across all services. And last but not least, our data wallet for storing personal data, including learning artifacts, certificates, and hopefully with the beginning of next year, we are also running a diploma use case. Those 3 mechanisms are ranging on a relatively abstract level, and they are easy to implement. So that's what we have learned during our first funding period. The fastest one of these services getting connected with the prototype took 2 days time, and the slowest 10 days. So that's really good, and to say that was really cool. So we really liked that. It was very easy to make that happen. Now let me come to the digital learner journey, and this slide shows in a simplified and schematic way how the network digital infrastructure will support digital learner journeys. Our interoperability mechanisms decoupled personal data and metadata. That means there's no direct exchange of personal data between service providers. The exchange of personal data with services is organized via the learner himself by using the data wallet. This also, that's clear, I think, affects the personalization of the learning path. As much as profile information a learner shares as concrete with the recommendation system that we call the Learning Path Finder B. The same is true for the personalization of existing services. For each learning opportunity, the learner is able to share his or her level of competencies, what helps to provide personalized guidance with the service itself. If you already have a language level of B1, why should you get a course recommended that ends at the level of A2? So that's very easy to understand, and we will see how that works practically in a minute during the live presentation. We are developing this prototype with a nation-wide eyes, but looking through European glasses. Of course, we are fully aware of the broader EU environment, and we also have to ensure interoperability on that level. Initiatives such as Europass, to name only one example, are playing a crucial role as part of the learner's service portfolio provided by the European Commission and other stakeholders there. It also makes sense to think about the exchange of learning outcomes and certificates. To give you another example, in order to cover connectivity in the case of international mobility, and that's why also DAAD, my own organization, is highly interested in making mobility processes seamlessly digital and improve the mobility of the learners also from an infrastructural side. I'd like to end with three major benefits, so there are more, but I just picked it three. After presenting these guidelines, so I thought it would be nice to also end with three, so that very fits with my personality that everything needs to be coherent. So the network digital infrastructure for education will allow the seamless use of digital learning offers and services. Secondly, it will also foster interaction, communication, and collaboration among educators and learners. And last but not least, data sovereignty will be put on the spot. So that's it from me so far. I'd like now to hand over to the practitioners in the field. So let's see, fingers crossed, if everything is working. And therefore, I'd like to hand over to Franziska.
Actually handing over to Katrin.
I'm actually handing over to Katrin. Okay, so happy to do that. I'm actually handing over the power of the clicker to Katrin. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Alexander, for introducing the BIRD project. Now we like to show a live demonstration of the actual prototype. So you can see the start. This is where we start our user journey. This live demonstration will show two scenarios of the BIRD user journeys, one in the school sector and the other within the area of higher education. The user journey will show BIRD's concept of connecting contexts, separately existing tools, as well as learners and teachers. The overall objective is to open up access to education and teaching learning resources through various functionalities. In the following scenario, you will see an example of how BIRD could be used in the context of the school sector as an impression of a future national education platform. You will see the interaction of BIRD and one of the Objective 1 and 2 projects, Lenabi, a platform for the provision of high quality and freely licensed learning materials of the school sector via the BIRD prototype as an impression of a future national education platform. So we already saw the login of Alex, who is a student at the Clara Schumann Gymnasium in Berlin. He has a digital meeting with his math teacher, Mrs. Shahin, for which they used BIRD. And in the workspace, Alex can find a blackboard with the list BIRD. Yeah, maybe we should call it Blackbird then. Can find a list of the student-teacher meetings with his math teacher, and also you can see all important news concerning this class. The teacher has noticed that Alex has a special talent in mathematics and would like to discuss this in order to support him better. So they use the video conference tool Big Blue Button, and the course teacher has deliberately chosen the virtual student-teacher conversation to allow flexible participation, for example. Yeah, you can see Mrs. Shahin and Alex, our student. They're talking about extra courses and services Alex can choose from BIRD to deepen his knowledge and also follow his talent in mathematics. She mentions that she has put up a link to an additional service called Zerlo to his Blackboard in BIRD, and she explains that Zerlo is one example of an education service which openly, accessibly and freely licensed, so Alex can use it with the single log on to BIRD and without a separate registration. Mrs. Shahin also suggests that Alex could help younger students by tutoring them in mathematics. So after the conversation, Alex follows the teacher's tips and opens the link to Zerlo and is greeted with a personalized message. Sorry, I was too fast. So, yeah, here we see the single login with BIRD. It was just one click. So, so now we can see a process. Alex is trying to load his data wallet, which will bring information to Lenabi about his learning status so that the right course will be shown directly, and Alex has not to search for options that fits into his schedule. Okay. The learning environment supports the design of digital and interactive lessons by providing task solutions and explanations. And through the coordinated interaction, independent and self-directed learning is promoted and at the individual's own pace. And with the connection to his own data wallet, Alex sets up access so that can Zerlo once load his information provided and also provide the new learning status after he has completed the course. After completion of the course, Alex looks up the workspace that Mrs. Shahin also suggested. So he's looking for a partnering school, which is also connected to BERT, and he finds a student who's looking for help in mathematics. So Alex will write him a message and ask if he can help him in giving tutoring. So with that, we close this scenario. We have seen 3 functions: how a personal profile can look like and be organized, how students and teachers can communicate and exchange learning states, and also how students can interact with each other, search for study help between schools, and help each other in deepening their knowledge. We have prepared a second scenario where we accompany Anastasia, a student who's also who's doing a dual study program in computer science with practical and theoretical part at RWTH Aachen University, and now is part of a seminar with a fellow student, and she likes to write a paper together with Jasper, who is being trained at Digitalisation. One challenge for the two is the local distance between the 2 different places of work, which makes face-to-face learning together difficult. But both are taking online courses at RWTH Aachen, and that is why they work together. Their professor has given them the task of writing a term paper on the topic of data protection and information security in the company. And now you can see how the two are working on the pad together, discussing their next points and their outline in the pad. Anastasia would like to read the assignment of the course in a learning management system, Moodle, of RWTH Aachen University, in order to compare the required objective with the brainstorming so far. Using the navigator function, she switches to the Moodle learning platform, which is seamlessly accessible via BERT. In the Moodle University course, Introduction to the GDPR, Anastasia looks at the exact assignment. The assignment got her thinking, so she wants to inform herself further and search for quality learning materials that will provide her with the necessary expertise. To do this, she switches back to BERT and try out the ERSI search function, a recommendation from her instructor, Mrs. Mertens. Anastasia searches for ERSI in the application of the homework workspace and drags the search index into the portlet. Yeah, that we already saw. This interaction is of the service is an example of what could it look like. A look and feel of the integration of the service is only an example and could also look different. And there are also different ways to integrate different services from and into BERT. In the previous scenario, for example, we saw the media break free transition to Zerlo, and here we are seeing ERSI dragged into the own learning space. Yeah, Anastasia already searched ERSI for materials on data protection and reads the material with interest. She remembers the message from Mrs. Mertens about a feedback meeting, so she switched to her personal area in BERT and joined the meeting with Mrs. Mertens. So now she's in the video conference call with her fellow student Jasper and also with Mrs. Mertens to discuss further steps. So we can see that you can get in touch with teachers and also fellow students, despite from distances of place of living or place of study. In the appointment, Mrs. Mertens gives them feedback on their homework, and also she gives them tips to add the topic of freedom of information to their paper. After the conversation, Anastasia and Jasper expand the agenda together in the pad. The pad is an application in BERT and allows students to create texts together. The teacher can also give feedback directly in the pad, and different users will be shown in different colors so that you can see who has made the changes in the pad. And adjustment and addition can be tracked in the change process as well. Anastasia finds the materials she found on ERSI very helpful and would therefore like to recommend ERSI to Nadine, a fellow student at another university. She uses the chat integrated in BERT for this purpose. Okay, with that we end this scenario as well. We have seen how BERT seamlessly connects to a Moodle platform as university's learning management system, how Moodle can be seamlessly linked to ERSI across national OER portal with a comprehensive search function, and we also saw how other e-learning tools can be set up and used in BERT via drag and drop. So thank you for your attention. Now two of our colleagues from the BERT project will join on screen and give us some more insights into the BERT lab.
Okay, very good. Can you... Okay, a remote but very warm welcome from the University of Magdeburg. Meeting or calendar conflict that doesn't allow me to be in Berlin today, but I want to wish you all best for your conference today. Just quick introduction from my side. My name is Stefan Whiten. I'm the product owner of the BERT Lab, an experimental lab where we do two things. We take what the BERT project partners develop and put this into practice and experiment with it and allow more innovative technologies to be influenced in the learning process. And the second and increasingly more important task that we have given by the BERT project is to try and experiment with the integration into a digitalized campus, higher education admin processes. So how to onboard a student or how to get their high school diploma, apply to universities, multiple universities in Germany, select their university, enroll, go through their study, and then also exmatriculate at the end of their study and become alumni of this very one university. So we are dealing with more the administrative processes rather than the learning process. As you can imagine, they're highly integrated with one each other. If you think back of the time when you studied, you can imagine that your learning time always interflicted with administrative tasks of enrolling back to a semester or receiving user accounts for specific classes and learning objects. So this is the state or the environment in which we work and contribute to the BERT project. And my colleague René will guide you through a couple of slides, just basically talking about the 4 main scenarios we are looking into, and then show you a quick demonstration of how an immatriculation, so enrollment process, would be fully digitized using the BIRD ID. Thanks and have fun.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. Also, thank you to my former speakers. So, as Stefan already introduced me, I'm René. I'm also part of the BIRD lab at the University of Magdeburg. Stefan already described shortly what we are doing. So on the one hand side, we are an incubator, so for researchers and practitioners. We want to try out new technical solutions in context of the BIRD project. And also we want to demonstrate and let learners, teachers experience such new innovative and new learning administrational processes. Therefore, as also Stefan already introduced, we have different scenarios, which are these 4. So we are looking at classical learning environments, non-classical learning environments, continuous education certification, and as Stefan also said, we are mostly focusing on digital administration processes, and we are looking today here at the immatriculation into a university. So starting with the first scenario, classical learning environment, I will go shortly through all these scenarios. This is pretty much what we already saw in the former demonstration. So we have a learner searching for a new course and to report for the course. And there could be prerequisites which need to be considered. For example, that the learner needs to share machine-readable enrollment certificates or other kinds of certificates to take part. This could be like to take a course where you need specific language skills, that you have a certificate that proves that you have a specific level of speaking Spanish, for example. You can share that with your BIRD wallet. The institution teacher can then verify such certificates and also are able to provide anonymous learning accounts for such courses. So the teacher can distribute such accounts, and these can be authenticated using an identity management system where we want to realize this using a BIRD account, which is guided through the to the third-party supplier and is there authenticated with a single sign log-on. The teacher can use the BIRD platform then to distribute learning materials, and also the course can then, of course, be conducted. And assessment tools can be used as a basis for partial completion, for example, to be advised to take the exam in the end of a course, and also that the learner gets module results or the examination transferred to the BIRD wallet. So in this scenario, we want to show real course interoperability as part of a complex learning journey, and we want to make use of standardized course metadata structures that build on each other. In the second scenario, we want to go a little bit away from classical learning environment into non-classical learning environments. In our case, this is a simulation game. So here, as before, the learner can search for a cross-university course where they're like taking part in a group playing a simulation game. Therefore, also there could be prerequisites for the participation, for example, to share machine-readable enrollment certificates. In our use case scenario, it would be to be part of an SAP UA program. So you are allowed to be a participant in such a course. Then you can be able to find existing course groups or to initiate a new learning group. This could be a teacher that, in the context of the course, creates a new learning group, or learners themselves use BIRD to self-organize, to play the game with each other and can compete with other teams. These course accounts can then be distributed like before by the teacher or the third party. The course can be executed, the simulation game, and in the end, the participants should receive a signed certificate of achievement after successful participation, also then sent to their BERT wallet in the end. So with this scenario, we want to show seamless integration of open simulation games in education and teaching, and also show how free political, social, and civil education on various topics can be, so the platform can be enhanced with such topics. In our third scenario, continuous education certification, we want to show how institutional teachers can create, plan, and coordinate courses, certifications. Learner can again search and select such a course using BERT. And what's new in this scenario, apart from the other two, is that in such certifications, oftentimes you have to pay a course fee. This could be done using the BERT wallet through a payment service provider, or, for example, by a third party that is funding the learner through a voucher, for example. The course can then be taken using various applications, which we also saw in the other demonstration, like the Big button or chatting applications. So the learners can communicate and coordinate and conduct then an externally supervised examination. So oftentimes in such certifications, they are taking part at a third party, where you in the end take your examination in a live room. So with this scenario, to show how to find integrate certifications in existing courses and how cross-organizational implementation certifications can be used here. Our fourth scenario and our main focus for the BERT Lab is digital administration processes. So we are here orienting on the student life cycle. So on the right side, you see the several steps you have. So an information, how to find a new study program. This could be done using BERT. How to then apply, matriculate the study itself, in the end to exmatriculate, and to keep in touch with the university and stay a member as an alumni. So for this scenario, we have several use cases with all of these steps of the student life cycle, where we want to integrate several technical systems, so the BERT platform with the BERT wallet and the campus management system, which is communicating with the users using a connector. Therefore, we want to develop good practices with pilot institutions. We want to determine requirements, and based on that, we want to identify and document integrated reference processes. We want to ensure system interoperability using metadata standards and ensure users' data sovereignty in their own lifelong BERT wallet. For today, I want to show you a short demonstration of the matriculation process. In this scenario, a student has applied at a university and is then invited by the university via an email to connect with the campus management system with the BERT wallet app. So here we want to show how this connection can be established and how then using the wallet secure communication can be ensured, especially for the matriculation process, where you need to issue a fee notice for the approaching student that he needs to pay his immatriculation fee to be immatriculated. That after payment, you issue a receipt of payment, and in the end, finally, you issue a matriculation certificate for the student. So for that, we unfortunately can't show this live, but we provided a short video, so I will guide you through this and hope that this is good visible. So on the left-hand side, we have the smartphone. On the right-hand side, we have the campus management system with the role of the administrative staff. Here in this view, we have management of applications, and we have a new application of our wallet, which we can check and we can set to valid. So with setting this application to valid, we start the matriculation process. And as I said in the former slide, now an email is sent out to the approaching student to connect with us using the wallet app. So we're looking to the mail. There we have it. This is the invitation saying how to get the app and an invitation link. So clicking on the link, we first have to give our birth date as a two-factor authentication. And after that, we are getting an approach to connect the wallet app. Here I mistyped the birth date, so I have to do it again. And eventually it's correct, and we get the QR code shown. This is, has already been shown also in the other demonstration. So we open our wallet app, we create a new profile, scan the QR code, and we are creating a new outgoing relationship request. So we want to get into a relationship with the university using our wallet app. As we invited the student and as we already applied and we know who he is, we want to automatically accept the request, which sometimes takes a little while. In the meantime, we are going back to the campus management system. And here we created an application to communicate with wallet users over the connector. So here we have an application loading all our established contacts. On the left side, the contact has not been accepted. And this takes a little while here. Here we have the application where we see our students, where we could go into the student details and send messages. Now the new contact is not loaded, but I guess we are now writing a message from the applicant. And we refresh the app once again. Finally, we should now see Car Wallet at the top of the list. There it is. So now we see the message we just sent. We can issue the fee notice. So we can, as the role of the administration staff, write the student a message that we need him to pay the matriculation fee. So we send a respective message and we attach the fee notice as an attachment. After sending, we get it directly into our wallet app. So we get a message there, and we can also look at the fee notice where it said we have to pay a little bit over 200 euros, I guess, to matriculate. The wallet so far, unfortunately, does not provide the possibility to transfer or to make payments. So we, for this demonstration, assume that the payment has now been done, and we send out the payment receipt. And with the payment being done, now the student can be matriculated. So we go back out of the contact app, back to the app where we manage applications. We are searching for Car Wallet, and we can approve now the application, and he is immatriculated. He also gets a message on the wallet app that he successfully matriculated in the study program of business informatics and his bachelor's. We also provide him a link and login credentials for the campus management system to log in from the student perspective. And when we are logging in, we are already in the next step of the student lifecycle where we are in the study. So yeah, just wait that we are logged in here. And now we have the view of the student. You can register now for a new course. You can or would be able to look at already registered courses and can now conduct a study. So this is it for the live demo. So you could imagine such processes could now be done also like the application process using the wallet with your self-sovereign data. If you want to share documents, you could do this at 10 universities at a time. You don't have to upload everything on every different new chemist management system, but you could use your wallet app to just share them from time to time again. So going further, I would also at the end now give you a little outlook, what is further being planned in the BERT lab. So we want to integrate a single sign login at the campus management system using a BERT account. And doing that, we also want to then authenticate a user using a Nutzerkonto-Bund. Nutzerkonto-Bund is a governmental identification and authentication service. And we want to further look into further processes of the student lifecycle. So at the application process, which is before the matriculation, so you could imagine onboard your wallet app during the application, you can self-sovereign and securely share your personal data during the application and share documents like transfer of records, for example. And also at the matriculation process, we want to go more into the field of metadata. So as we are issuing a matriculation certificate, we want also to issue an ex-matriculation certificate using the ex-Hochschule standard. Right. This is it. This is it for me. If you have any further questions, remarks, want to get into contact, feel free to do so. And yeah, thank you for the attention.
I would have two more remarks. I may have two more remarks to highlight the innovative part of this. I think everyone who works in university or vocational school administrative roles knows that many of the German schools, universities have already implemented or gone their journey to digital transformation. But the focus of this is here, if a student or a prospective student, so a learner that just exited and graduated from high school, if they apply to multiple universities, and of course this is focusing Germany, we have a similar EU project where we're trying to do this on a EU basis. So if you apply as a German student just graduating at a Magdeburg High School and would like to apply to multiple EU university, then this becomes much more efficient, seamless, and also self-sovereign, because as René showed, you as a user define who can see your data. So you have very secure communication paths to individual universities. That's all separated and highly secure. And you can decide whom to share your high school certificate with, or any other document or parts of communication that you would like to share with your learning journey partner, so to speak. Okay, so I hope this gave you a good overview of what we are working on, and we are happy to present this in further stages. Thank you.
Thank you very much, BERT project team, for your presentation. And with a look at the time, I would. Okay, I phrase it frankly, I'm rude and I will not give you any questions, but leave you all to the coffee break. And maybe you can all just approach Alexander Knoth or the both of you with further questions over coffee, but we really have to be on schedule for the 12 o'clock program here again. This is why I say thank you again to the speakers, to you as the audience, and we meet again at 12 o'clock.